Getting stuck in Disney World, probably not the problem you're expecting to deal with, but it's a lot more common than you might think. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Alright, if you've been to Disney World before, you know the pain of waiting in a big crowd for a bus at the end of the night. But have you ever gotten stuck on a ride? How about getting stuck with nothing to snack on after the parks are closed? We've certainly been there, and we've got the tips to get you out of the worst and most likely places to get stuck in Disney World. First one is waiting for transportation. Bus waits can be rough in the morning before the parks open or middle of the day when buses aren't running as frequently. But the end of the night is when everyone is waiting to get a ride home, and that can be the worst. Waiting on Disney transportation is pretty much unavoidable, but there are some tips to make it a little more bearable. At Disney Resort bus stops, they have screens that will let you know when the next bus is due to arrive. You can even access it in the My Disney Experience app under your hotel details as well. Buses typically run every 20 to 25 minutes or so, and at least with that interval time board, you'll know if you just missed one or if it's on the way. Coming back from the parks, you won't have that great board, but buses do run a lot more frequently at the end of the night. So even if you show up to the stop and there's a huge crowd ahead of you, it should move a bit faster with more buses arriving soon. Now, social distancing guidelines are going to have a big impact on crowded buses, mainly that buses won't be crowded, but it could take a lot longer to get on board. Buses are divided into sections and only one party is allowed in each section. If you have a big party, you'll be split up, taking more of those sections. Buses can normally hold about 75 people, but with those barriers and sections, it's down to about 25 depending on the size of the groups boarding. Luckily, Disney World overall will be a lot less crowded, so while buses are holding fewer guests, there are going to be fewer guests trying to board. All right, let's talk monorail. Monorails run a bit more frequently than buses, but you will run into the same end-of-the-night crowds heading back to their hotels, and it's a little more likely that you may get stuck on the monorail itself. If you get stuck on the Epcot line, you'll likely be waiting a while. The track is a straight shot between the Transportation and Ticket Center and Epcot, so if your train stops, there's no other stations where you can get off. Now, remember the Epcot line is not running at the moment. We're not sure when it's going to be back online, but we will keep you updated. So take this as prep for when you come to Disney World when that's back moving. If one train shuts down, all the others on the line need to wait as well, and it may be something simple like just rebooting the system, but that can still take 15 to 20 minutes. This is why we always recommend to give yourself plenty of time to get from point A to point B. Most of your monorail rides will likely go on without incident, but it just takes a little malfunction to make you late to your dinner reservation. Okay, Skyliner. When it first opened, there were a lot of kinks to work out, including a very rough incident only about a week after the new system opened in 2019. Now, people were stuck for 3 hours one night after a malfunction caused a crash at the Riviera station. We haven't seen anything like that happen again. Occasionally, the gondolas will stop for a minute or two, but overall, the system is extremely quick and convenient. But just in case you do really get stuck on the Skyliner, this incident let us know there's emergency kits in the gondola cabin under the seats with water, glow sticks, notepads, and waste bags. Again, most of the time your trip on Disney transportation will be uneventful, but always leave plenty of travel time to get from place to place. Disney recommends a full hour and a half. All right, getting stuck in a freak thunderstorm. It might be nice and sunny when you head into a ride or restaurant, but when you come out, it's pouring. Not all rides have gift shops at the exit to hide in either, and cast members are going to likely be stationed to keep people from blocking the exit. So if you're at a restaurant and you've already finished dessert, a second cup of coffee, and you're out of ways to stall the end of your dinner, you might just have to brave that rain. And FYI, rain is going to happen on your Disney trip. It's Florida, it's pretty much inevitable, so remember that rain gear. Always cover your strollers before you head into a ride, show, or restaurant too, because those afternoon thunderstorms can pop up out of nowhere and might not even really show on the radar before they hit. So better to take an extra minute and cover up your stuff rather than come out to a soaking wet stroller. Believe me, I have handled this, and basically it was a nightmare. I had to basically line that stroller with towels to put that kid in there, and he was not happy. So if you go to Disney in the summer, you can pretty much guarantee an afternoon storm, and you always want to keep an eye on that weather app as well. We love using AccuWeather. They have a minute-by-minute prediction that tends to be pretty accurate to show you how soon rain is coming and how heavy it's going to be. Check that weather app before you head into dinner or get in line for a show or a ride with a longer wait time. You definitely don't want to have to run out of the line to go cover your stroller. So the next place you get stuck in Disney World all the time, on a ride. Rides do break down at Disney, but even that temporary delay that's usually to help get a guest on or off the ride can be terrible if you're in the wrong spot. Like the spot on Splash Mountain after the drop where the logs line up to exit and you're next to the waterfall and you get soaked waiting. Or the other spot on Splash Mountain where you're in the path of the water cannon before you climb that first hill. If you're stuck sitting in those places, you're going to get drenched. Some people love the music on It's a Small World or Pirates of the Caribbean, but maybe not if your boat gets stuck next to a speaker for 30 minutes. Boat rides and a few coasters take some extra effort to evacuate guests. While it's rare to have a full evacuation, boat rides do require someone to wade out to you and push your boat to the nearest exit. Getting stuck outside in the heat is also not ideal. We came across a train car stuck on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and they were just stuck in the middle of a hill in direct sun in the summer. Since it's not safe to have anything sticking out of the car, even if it's not moving, people weren't allowed to use umbrellas for shade either. There are some good rides that are less bad to get stuck on. Kilimanjaro Safaris isn't too bad if you've got a view of the animals, but it's a waste of time and nobody has the time to waste in Disney when you're trying to get the most out of your day. Disney's likely going to take care of you, though, if you get stuck on a ride for that long. We've gotten free fast passes after getting stuck before, but if you're going to miss your next reservation because you got stuck on a ride, definitely talk to someone when you get off to see if you can get that reservation reinstated. All right, getting stuck without food late at night. This happens to me all the time, believe it or not. Even though I write Disney Food Blog and it seems like I eat all day, I do get real hungry at night after I am done in the parks, and there aren't a lot of things that are open, especially not if you're staying at a hotel that doesn't have a 24-hour location. So you're going to want to plan ahead if you need a late night snack. Now we have a whole video about this, but this is just a little reminder for you. Get something from the grab-and-go case ahead of time to store in your fridge so you aren't stuck running to the gas station for something to eat, because you guys know about my sad story of eating a very old gas station sandwich sitting on my bed in the hotel room. It's a very sad story. Not like cry sad, but I must have looked pathetic. Just like sitting there eating my old sub sandwich. Oh man, that's crazy. What a weird life. Now remember, Captain Cook's, Gasparilla Grill, and Peekaboo. So Captain Cook's is at Polynesian, Gasparilla Grill is at Grand Floridian, and Peekaboo is at Swan and Dolphin. Those are all open 24 hours a day during normal times. Right now, they are not open 24 hours a day, or at least Captain Cook's is not, and Peekaboo, of course, is not open at the moment because the soccer players are staying there. But during normal times, when things get a little bit back to normal, those restaurants will probably go back to 24/7, so it's good to remember that. And you can go visit those places even if you're not staying there, FYI. Just keep in mind that transportation options are also going to be slim pickings late at night, so that might mean, an Uber or a Lyft or something like that. And there are several restaurants in Disney Springs that are open late and serving food until 1 a.m. in normal times. Right now, Disney Springs is closing around 9 or 10 each night, so these restaurants aren't staying open that late, but normally they do stay open till about 1 a.m., and that's Morimoto Asia, the Edison, and a few others that have late night menus. So if you're going to grab a burger or some dumplings after hours, that's where to do it. Private dining or room service is often available until midnight or even 24 hours a day at some Disney hotels. There's a premium on the items, and it might not be the most exciting collection, but if you're totally out of luck elsewhere, then you might go ahead and do room service. Now, again, room service is not running for Disney hotels at the time of me recording this. So keep an eye on Disney Food Blog, get our newsletter, we'll let you know when room service is back up and running. And you can always order Uber Eats or another food delivery service to your hotel. This is a fun option that, we didn't have back when I first started going to Disney World. So they can deliver to Disney hotels, and having some off-site options can also save you a bit of money from the expensive in-room dining and just general dining on Disney property. All right, getting stuck in line for a ride. No matter how much planning you do or how low crowds and capacity are, you'll need to wait in line for a ride at least once on your trip. Prepare for the big rides with long wait times. Rise of the Resistance, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Slinky Dog Dash, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Flight of Passage. These are the new exciting top-tier rides that everyone wants to get on, so lines are going to be long. Usually we would recommend you plan to hit them first thing in the morning or last thing at night if you can't grab a fast pass. But if you're visiting while FastPass isn't running, that means that the parks are also running very, very limited capacity. And what we're finding right now is that if you actually wait until the kind of end of the day to ride that ride, your wait time is going to be much, much lower. So the wait times are actually higher in the mornings right now because people are getting to that park and wanting to ride that ride first. And so the wait times are a little bit higher. But since there's no park hopping at the moment, if you wait until the end of the day, most of the people will be sort of done with their park day and already gone. So we're finding that those super popular rides are absolute walk-ons at the end of the day. Now that might not be the case for that Rise of the Resistance, Remember, that one is using a modified virtual queue, so that policy might not apply. But for everything else with no fast pass and just standby wait, end of the day is going to be a winner, I think, for at least this limited capacity time. And also bring activities for the kids so that they can do those things during the line wait. Disney's got some fun interactive games in their Play Disney Parks app, but stick something to keep kids entertained in your park bag too, just in case you run out of battery, they don't like that game, etc. Several ride queues have interactive features to keep you entertained in line, like the shadows at Peter Pan's Flight, and a few other interactive features at places like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Dumbo. But note, if those interactive features include touch points, those are probably closed off right now. So shadows at Peter Pan's Flight, those are fine because you're just, touching air. But the Dumbo, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and Winnie the Pooh, their interactive elements are kind of shut off right now. And Haunted Mansion too. So definitely throw something in your park bag to keep those kids occupied and interested while they're waiting in line. All right, next and most likely place to get stuck in Disney World: searching for your car. If you aren't relying on Disney transportation and you drove yourself to Disney, make sure to remember where you parked. Disney parking lots are huge and you're tired when you're headed back and it's probably dark now. You don't want to get stuck wandering around trying to find your car, especially if it's a rental car and you don't even remember what it looks like. Apple Maps are going to mark where you parked, so you can just follow the little car icon. But if it's a rental, you can drop a pin to mark your location. Google also has a Find My Parked Car app, but if you want to go low tech, the lots are marked to help you find your way back. Write down the section of the lot you're in. Also, remember, if you lost your little paper where you wrote down the section you're in, or you forget, you can always ask a parking cast member, so long as you know about what time you arrived. They keep a chart of how the lot was loaded, so they know if you arrived around 9:30, what section your car will be in. And getting stuck on the wrong side of a parade. So parades aren't running at Disney World right now. They'll surely be back. And so this is definitely, once again, going to be a place where you can get stuck. Before the parade comes through Magic Kingdom, cast members will begin roping off sidewalks along the route and redirecting guests. Now, if you've ever tried to make it from Tomorrowland over to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad during parade time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You could see where you want to go, but you're being directed the complete opposite way and being told you can't cross right here. So, know the parade route. It typically starts at Splash Mountain, winds through Frontierland and Liberty Square, and then out to the Castle Hub and down Main Street. You won't have trouble getting between Tomorrowland and Fantasyland, but pretty much everywhere else is going to involve wading through crowds and finding a spot to cross the street. Know what time the parade is scheduled to start and be prepared for a holdup starting at least a half hour before and a half hour later. It can take some time for the parade to make it all the way through the route, and things will essentially come to a standstill on Main Street. If you need to get across during the parade, keep an eye out for crosswalks. Cast members will open up a crosswalk for just a moment in between floats when they can, but it's usually best to be where you need to be before the parade starts. Now, just know that there are very few places that you absolutely can't get to if you're stuck behind a parade. So if you do need to get from Tomorrowland to Big Thunder Mountain, you can get there. You just kind of have to walk totally the wrong direction from what you would expect. So just get a park map and figure out where you need to go. And again, a rough place to be stuck is in Adventureland, because that's kind of right in the middle of the two sides of the parade. So in that case, if you're in the wrong space, then definitely just look for a crosswalk or ask a cast member. They'll make sure you get across the street. So there are the worst and most likely places to get stuck in Disney World. Over on Disney Food Blog, we have a list of the top 10 rides that people get stuck in the most, which is really, really interesting. So be sure to go check that out. Anyway, we hope this has been helpful to sort of help you to plan around sort of wasting that stuck time in Disney World. Thanks for listening, you guys, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.